What sort of warped thinking equates being successful to boarding a plane? And what on earth does different levels of success got to do with which mode of transport you choose? So I write back, I disagree. I am very successful as I board a lot of planes. Smiley face, end of comment.
Hey, Megan.
Oh my.
Nice.
This is God is Dead.
The podcast about the worst content on the internet.
The Your Pants Challenge.
We're not just telling these stories for nothing.
Yeah, the gay potion!
It's to answer one simple question.
Is this all proof that God has abandoned us?
Or are we going to be okay?
Chillfully thus far.
All right, Cam here. Quick disclaimer from myself. Now, in the episode that you are about to listen to, I basically take a real world person and I turn them into a bit of a pariah and a symbol of a lot of things that I don't like. Now, I had a bit of a moral hang up before releasing this episode because I actually contacted the person who I turn into this symbol. And I had a chat to them. I asked them if they want to be on the episode. They said no, but I guess within that interaction, it kind of humanized them for me. But we recorded this episode before I had that interaction. So this person is still very much unhumanized for me, and I pretty much just rip into them. So keep in mind that I no longer feel the way that I felt, but I still think it's kind of entertaining audio. So with that in mind, enjoy the episode. And today on the pod, I want to talk about a little experiment I've been doing and why I've been doing it.
The Stanford Prison Experiment, part 2. All right.
That's me, baby.
Cool.
Zomba, don't even listen to Bryce for a second.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm talking about LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. Far out. Mr. New Influencer alert. God is Dead, Kind Regards edition.
LinkedIn influencers.
Well, yeah, when we were on the way to the Gold Coast somehow in the chaotic journey, you managed to bash out a viral LinkedIn post when we were just like trying to catch a fucking flight. You were like, hey man, how should I word this? Pretty sure you're fucking driving at the same time. And like, hey, I was like, oh cool, I'm glad we're thinking about the same shit. It's our first time doing this show.
All right, let me explain the dynamic in the pod. I'm good with the tech. If we ever need to go somewhere, Bryce walks me around like a freaking toddler.
Yeah, pretty much. And we got to try that out of the Gold Coast show. If you don't know, getting there was a nightmare. We had the cancelled flight, then we had to race to Newcastle. We had to piss. Cam did it in the car park. I ran with a full bladder. Then I did it in the airport. Then we got on the flight. Then we had to drive to the Gold Coast. And that was an hour and a half. Then we had to do our tech run. Then we got about an hour to sit at home. Then we did the live show. Then we had to go back the next day. So somehow in that time, you had one or two things you were doing on LinkedIn, and I was like kind of curious because I don't have it, but you were like, man, this is the new frontier. And I guess this is where we're going today.
This is where we're going. So I'll start the story at the start, and that is I've become a little bit disenfranchised with social media in general. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. It's not like I talk about it all the time.
No.
It's not like this whole pod is based on that premise.
Yeah.
But one thing that I didn't expect to become disenfranchised with is my own social media. I don't know what it is. I was just like, I'm tired. I'm just going up and down, and it's context and whatever.
Yeah.
So
like a news feed or being a creator?
Everything, all of it, man. And so I wanted to reignite that spark. So a few weeks ago, and you'll know this, I created my fake Insta, my Finsta.
Yes.
Like I'm a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah. I like how you're using it.
Yeah, thanks, man. And, you know, it has sort of granted me, I guess, a little bit more of that experimental happiness that I think comes when you don't have too many eyes on something.
You feel like you got 1,000 followers again.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just like, I'm not doing this to like hit an algorithm or to do anything. It's literally because I think it's funny.
Yeah, and I can be as edgy as I want. Like, it's
Yeah.
super fun. The only problem is it's private. I don't ever intend to make it public.
Yeah.
So while I'm getting all of the experimental nature and while I'm getting that sort of like, I want to kick around and break shit, the one thing that I wasn't getting is that thing that I'm embarrassed that I like, and that's metrics.
Yes.
I wanted someone to be like, hey Cam, you're great. You know?
Not enough shares from the private account.
Exactly. So yeah, my own attention seeking, what would you call it? Personal flaws kicked in, and I was like, all right, where can I get this feeling of experimentation, but also be public? And then
So it has to be a platform that doesn't matter, basically.
It has to be a platform that doesn't matter. Bang on the money. Bang on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all the other ones, they kind of matter.
And then brands care about that shit. People use them.
Yeah. It is what it is, right? Then I had to stalk somebody for a meeting, and I'm like, I couldn't find the information anywhere. So I was like, LinkedIn. I'll go to LinkedIn. man, stalked them, and then I realized I had an account, and then I like start scrolling through my dashboard. I knew I had an account, I just remembered it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then I like start scrolling through my dashboard, which is like your news feed, and holy fuck, dude. Like, no exaggeration, every single, no exceptions, post on that platform is the cringiest thing that I have ever read in my entire life.
Are these people that you follow?
No. You kind of get
So
everything.
suggested
Yeah,
stuff.
the algorithm's actually really good for organic reach.
Right.
Which
Bit
kind
of
of makes
TikTok
it really
moment.
funny.
Yeah.
It's sort of, which I like that aspect of it, because then I was like, well, and I'll start reading these posts.
Yeah.
And they're always just these things like, welcome our new recruit. I literally read this one this morning and it made me laugh so freaking much. So imagine you've got a new recruit, and you're like a new person's come onto your team.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to say something quirky about them and welcome them publicly to the team. Here's just one that I found this morning. This isn't even cringe, but it's cringe to me. Say hello to our newest addition to the blank family. Blank is a superstar content creator or whatever with some of the freshest content ideas we've ever come across. Blank's also the biggest Kanye stan in the office. So when All Falls Down is blasting on the office speaker, we all know who the culprit is. Blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody talks like that, and yet everybody is on this platform deciding that we are all somehow managed by an invisible HR department.
Is it kind of, though, for me, and call me crazy, I don't own a business, but like, and I'm not self-employed anymore.
In fact, I'm very poor. Please donate to me.
Please hit the thing. No, buy a ticket to the live show when it happens. The thing for me, I've always noticed though, my judgment has always been people who have all that time to talk about what they're doing are not actually doing it. Like, you'll see people that are on Instagram being like, ugh, yep, another 12-hour day. Classic me. It's like, yo, when I have a 12-hour day, I'm bashing things out. I'm doing a 12-hour day right now. I started work 12 hours ago, right? I am not on Insta being like, yep, another late night fucking podcast. I just do it and I like it and it's fun. And like, that's the thing. It's a combination of two things, I think. Is one, they don't really like their job that much because they're doing all this. Two, they don't actually do any work. For people to be for that level of detail, do you know what I mean? New recruit, just hire them.
I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Well, I guess you might make them feel special, and that's kind of nice. I don't know, man. I take offense to that sort of vanilla language. I'm like, if you're an agency and if you're saying you're good at making content, freaking prove it on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's just so
Okay.
freaking vanilla. I'm like, oh, thank you for posting wallpaper. This is nothing.
So LinkedIn needed someone to spice things up.
Yeah, and I saw a good tweet that was like, LinkedIn is the only platform that would genuinely benefit from more bullies.
Because I guess you have to be polite and civil and corporate.
Yes, you do. Unless you don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
I'm not trying to say I'm cool and I don't give a fuck and I have a backwards hat that I wear all the time.
It's the sleeper cell, the LinkedIn sleeper cell agent on the pod.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, like, why is anybody giving a shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I've like freaking like lost my mind.
No, corporate speak freaks me out.
Yes, it freaks me the fuck out.
You walk into an office and it's like someone who you just like, it's just the way they start talking to you, it's like, man, you aren't on the human wavelength right now. This is really odd. And you fully buy into the culture and it's like, hey, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are on the way to their jobs at the moment thinking like, fuck, I'm about to talk to that guy. My favorite office character is the one holding the teacup with two hands. You know, why do motherfuckers hold a teacup with two hands? I'm telling you, they don't necessarily speak like corporate, but they're still one to watch and fucking avoid.
My ones are the ones who like get off on having secret meetings. They're like, you know, the people who think secrecy is power, particularly in like a corporate environment. They're like, oh yeah, no, me and Justin had a meeting. Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh God, me and Justin know the secret sandwich spot that you can't know about.
Yeah, I'm just
we go to the one down the road. It's only for us.
Yeah, man. If I ever commit suicide, and I just know that this clip will be it, I just want to only blame one thing and one thing only. The entire corporate world. That's it. So if I eventually go that way, make sure this clip pops off on LinkedIn.
Thank you for bestowing me with that fucking responsibility.
No. That's you and everybody who watches this or listens to
Clip
this.
this. No,
Clip
don't.
this.
When-
Duet this.
We are
I
not.
want to kill myself because.
We're not manifesting that.
No, we're not. I want to stick around. I got a kid now. All right.
Yes.
So I started basically. I was just like, oh man, fuck these people, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna just start shit posting. So I start posting things like.
I mean, I've seen some of these. I like them.
Yeah, thanks, man. Jordo, our editor, could you please give us some story time music? Thank you. Today I heard some youths describing their e-cigarettes as bussin' for real. This is from me. This is my post last night. Kids, listen up real quick, because I'm about to drop a truth bomb. There's nothing bussin' about misusing your language. It's not on God to use slang, and it certainly isn't no cap to vape. Back in my day, we treated language with respect. Nowadays, kids are all duck face this and Facebook that. Whatever happened to common sense? Pick up your game, and while you're at it, pick up your pants. I know.
Yep.
And then I've got like heaps of laugh emojis.
Yeah.
Now look, jokes aside, I do believe that the number one reason society has become categorically worse is slang. You might say that it's innocent, but to you I say, Galatians 9:14.
Wow.
Paul spake Jesus. Language is of the Lord, and to bend his words is to deny him. A man of God lets no Sumerian peasant words enter his holy dialect, lest he detest the kingdom. Translation, using slang as a one-way ticket to hell. No cap. A joke.
What I like about these is that still going?
Oh yeah, man, I got
Oh
two
my,
more paragraphs.
oh my god!
Dude, this is the thing.
There's
'cause
no character limit.
No, I know, and it's so funny
Wow.
because all these people write these freaking essays, and man, okay, I'm just gonna finish this, and then I'm getting on my high horse, then I'm getting on my rant. All right, I'm aware this sentiment might create some backlash in the quote younger generation, so perhaps some of the more wiser LinkedIn users could confirm my suspicion. Have young people become less moral? I personally have noticed a decline in attendance at my local church, and I can't help but feel as though language like bussin' for real is to blame. Thoughts?
So what I like about this kind of shit, and anyone here's an insight. If you've ever been in a position where you create something and put it in public, the more realistic it seems, like the more satirical it is. So if you do, you could literally do like a fake ad and use an American accent, and someone who doesn't like American ads, instead of being like, wow, what a great reenactment, their first thing is to go, yeah, shut the fuck up with this such a fucking annoying fucking thing. So with this, it's like, if you can make it seem realistic, I guarantee you're getting comments now that are like actually pissed off and being like, sorry, that isn't true. And they can be as young as 21, they can be as old as 81. It's without fail, the better you are at it, the more likely you are. Like Batuta Advocate, the satirical newspaper.
Everybody knows it's satire.
Except they always get comments being like, wow, nice work reporting on this. Like without fail. It's like the whole world, the whole country knows that it's a satirical newspaper. So yeah, I'm imagining this actually sucks some people in, which I'm excited to hear about.
Yeah, and so I sort of started towing the line. I was like, all right, so maybe some will be a little bit more obvious, some will be less obvious. I've been dabbling in genres like 6 things billionaires do every morning without fail.
Nice.
I've got one like some fun facts about me. I am the life of every party I've ever been to. And yet, I've never touched drugs or alcohol, not even Panadol. How, you ask, is this
right, I read
possible?
this one.
How do I have so much fun without drugs and alcohol? 2 words. Anabolic steroids.
Yeah.
And then I just keep going.
We love.
Yeah, all right. So that goes on like this. But this... Okay. Do you ever come back to something and every time you see it, you smile?
Of course.
It's like being in love, and there's this content equivalent of it, and it reminds me of that fresh feeling when you're like, oh, social media's fun again.
Yeah.
Guys, I think it's getting fun again.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the stupid one that I wrote when we were in transit. You might have read it on my Instagram. If not, here's a dramatic reenactment with some lovely music from our editor, Jordo. Today I was boarding a plane. This is not uncommon as I am successful. But what happened next was as rare as moments come. On the way to the departure gate, I noticed that a small child had dropped their ice cream on the floor. On the verge of tears, I approached the child and stated, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened."
Stated.
The child grinned in only the way a child can. Pure innocence. They said with profundity, "I cannot fault your logic. I choose to be happy. Just as a small crowd had gathered around to cheer, I noticed a little silly mouse come and eat the ice cream. The child laughed. We all laughed. Truly the ice cream had found a new ice creamee. Ha ha! We jubilantly cried with mirth. Go, little silly mouse, go! Go, little silly mouse, go! But our laughter came to an abrupt halt. Even the little silly mouse had ceased its mastication. The voiceover delivered the bad news that our flight was cancelled. Panic, trauma, chaos. This, for me, meant that I would be late to my business meeting. Uh-oh alert. This is, of course, when an airline attendant taps me on my successful shoulder and says, due to your clear exhibitions of altruism and gratitude, we have managed to get you on another flight, and it leaves now. I look back to the child, now on the precipice of tears. Child, I command, take not just my advice, take my seat. The crowd, collectively aghast in awe, begins to cheer. It's at this point that the child cracks a wry grin. Sir, says the child, for your generosity, I think a second seat just opened up. Perplexed, I grow confused. You see, says the child, I own this airport and I can pull some strings, but only for the noblest of souls. You, sir, are such ilk, and so I shall grant you an on-time seat. Where? The cockpit, no less. I get escorted to the cockpit of the nearest plane, the whole airport now cheering, covering I and the child airport owner in rose petals. I sit in the pilot's seat as directed, but I don't know how to fly. That's when the child turns to me and says, if you can help a child, you can fly a plane. Profound. Wow. I take the 747 into the air seamlessly and soar her into the sky. I look to my left to smile at the co-pilot, and who do I see? None other than the little silly mouse.
So I've read this story. I was really inspired.
Now, to my delight, to my childlike troll sympathizing delight, this thing goes
the bait
viral.
Was taken, and the bait was taken.
Firstly,
what's LinkedIn viral look like numbers wise?
It's for me not large because I've only just started posting.
Yeah.
But it has 400 likes, which I thought was pretty neat for a dead account.
Nice.
And that's all I know. It's got 54 comments and 13 shares.
Oh, great.
Nothing crazy, but enough that it's definitely left my tiny network.
Yes.
So this thing, basically goes, and anybody who reads beyond the first sentence knows that's extraordinarily obvious when it comes to satire.
Yeah.
Like extraordinarily obvious. You'd have to be a dense motherfucker.
Oh, dude, no.
To not get that.
You will always get one or two. We know this.
And I got one. And mate, this is what I was talking about. Every time I see this guy's comment, this is the feeling. It's the happiness. It's it's just this extraordinary oh, I fucking got you, bro. I fucking got you. Anyway.
What's his problem?
This man, director at writes this.
This is worse because it's like your career is right there. It's not an anonymous account.
I know. And the worst part is he kind of insults me for being arrogant. I'm like, arrogant's what you've been. Anyway, so basically, remember how I started it? Today I was boarding a plane. This is not uncommon as I am successful.
He'd hate that.
Yeah, okay. So that's what took umbrage with. What sort of warped thinking...
The way the story's written's fucking from Chronicles of Narnia, dude. It's all warped. It is warped thinking on purpose.
And it's so look at him. The dude's,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's sort of you
The way that's written.
call him I don't know, late 40s dude, wears a suit, sort of smug, evil Mr. Bean looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right. What sort of warped thinking equates being successful to boarding a plane?
That wasn't the moral of the story, mate.
I know.
What about the mouse? What about the fucking mouse?
What about the fact a child owned an airport? All right. Why would these two aspects equate to one another? And what on earth does different levels of success got to do? And what on earth has different levels of success got to do with which mode of transport you choose?
What on earth is a brilliant
I know.
question.
It's I dare say.
Yeah.
It's just these weird relics of a phrase for bitter people.
This reminds me, side note, if you want to see something really funny, go to Cam's post on Instagram about maybe it was the wedding postponed again or something, and I wrote like that you had a picture that had the C word in it, and I wrote, "Wow, the C word. You think it's funny? I'm unfollowing," and so many people got angry at me. How you must not know anything about Struthless if you're right. Like, dude, look at the fucking.
Or people thinking you're American because you're taking offense to the word cunt.
Tell me you're not Australian without telling me you're not Australian. It was so funny. I just like lay back and just let it roll.
Hey, like, see ya.
It was really funny. Anyway, that's something out there if you want to go find it.
Sick. So
Similar
yeah,
to this.
So yeah. Has asked me what on earth does transport have to do with success, and then he gives me a little personal advice. He puts in brackets, seems as though that attitude is one where there is more work to do. Then he's tagged me, Campbell Walker. I'd consider you a work in progress rather than a success. Thinking face.
Wow.
That's the end of his comment.
Makes you think.
And so I saw this and I was just over the moon. I was about to quit my Lexapro subscription. I was just so happy. So I write back, I disagree. I am very successful as I bought a lot of planes. Smiley face, end of comment.
Did he go again?
Yep. He tags me, Campbell Walker. How does that equate? Thinking face. Then somebody asked him, did you even read past the first sentence? Laugh emoji. And then he tags her and goes, yes, I got to the second sentence. And then somebody goes, you clearly don't know what success looks like. Just piling in. And then writes, perhaps you would like to share what success looks like then, Lockie, so we can all benefit from your business experience. I'm always happy to be informed from someone with greater knowledge. And then someone else goes, I think you missed the point of the anecdote. And then who still hasn't read the post just keeps arguing in the comments. So now he goes, maybe, but maybe the point should have been made more succinctly. He lost me after the second line.
Oh,
And
dude.
here's where it gets awesome.
Read it.
And I don't have time to read long anecdotes where it's unclear at the start what the point is. Oh, you busy, important human. Oh, you are so freaking busy. You don't have time, and yet you are arguing in a LinkedIn comment section.
Came back for more. It's like, dude, Drake, Tim Cook, they're not posting their like top 9 Insta photos at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Really busy people actually do work.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
This guy clearly doesn't have time to read long anecdotes. And then he comments again.
Oh, nice double. Is that,
He double comments, tagging the same guy. So he's clearly like had a new thought.
Yeah.
Like this is stewing in his head. And that's what I love.
Oh, man.
Maybe you could summarize the overly long anecdote in maybe 2 sentences for me. This guy loves the word maybe.
Yeah, I guess it's not aggressive.
Then someone goes, yeah. Instead of like
Less
cheers,
confrontational.
maybe. No, and then this other dude jumps in. This is like my favorite comment in the whole thing. This guy jumps in, tags him. Basically, he's trying to say that he's successful, full stop. Mainly because he boards a lot of planes. And I love that the trolling continues. And then writes back, yes, I know that. But why does he think? But why does he think choice of mode of transport makes you a success? Surely it's the purpose of the journey that is relevant to the success, not how you are getting there.
But dude, he flew the plane. Doesn't that count for something? You flew it without any training. Doesn't that count?
Anyway, you're a fucking idiot, and it just makes me so happy. It's like I've been feeling this mental pressure or this sort of like thing that's been keeping me in a box, and every time I read his comment I'm just like, I just feel free, man. It's like this liberating sensation.
It's amazing because like you can post anything and it's always going to be met with
Yes.
and so like why not serve him dinner sometimes and just you know what, you could even treat the genuine work as like, here's a little snack because he's going to completely take this out of context. You'll enjoy this one and play with it for a little bit. Like, honestly,
I hope you're listening. Look at my smug face.
I
Look
hope
at my
so
smug
too.
fucking face.
Should I get LinkedIn? Now, Why do I get the
I
same?
don't know why it's so important to me to win. I think because I have just my entire life felt stomped on by guys like him. You know what I mean? Like dudes who think they're so freaking important, who wear a suit, who comment things like, I don't have the time,
Yeah.
and yet have the time to hate. Dudes who hold these positions of power, who think they're the fucking bee's knees just because they can play some corporate game. I have been squashed eternally by this type of human.
And haven't we all?
And just to have that little dunk, I'm just like, how the turntables have.
Final judgment.
If you have never listened to the podcast before, this is the section where we say the content that we've reviewed. Is it proof that God's alive or God's dead? Bryce, my little LinkedIn experiment and the saga. God is alive, God is dead.
Well, God's dead for me because this is an indication of like a wider problem, and that is the badge of honor that is being busy.
Oh, you're so right.
And what it does it destroys relationships. You know, I was talking to someone the other day. It's something that I noticed you haven't sort of done, but like actually it was Claire who we know, and Claire was saying,
Shout out Claire, you're the GOAT.
and yeah, let's make that a fact.
Oh yeah. Claire is both Bryce and my manager, and we'll put her email in the show notes if you ever need to get in contact with us. Sorry, Claire.
It came up when Claire was sort of saying, or maybe it was Danny who hooked up the Gold Coast show we did. On the way out of the dinner we had, one of them was saying, you know, they know parents who they have their kid, and then it's sort of like, if you want to see them, it's like, yeah, I can probably do like 20 minutes between like 12 and 12:30. If you just like, it's just then this time. They sort of get this importance, this self-importance, because it's like everyone loves being busy. And then when you've got a kid, it is the ultimate excuse to be busy. And there is like a genuine like, oh, sorry, man, it's just things are really hectic. Can you meet me? We'll have some like, we'll just have tea. And then like the baby can just sit here. And like, if I need to do stuff, I'll do stuff. But I'd love to like, just chill. Then there's people that are like, I'm busy. Now I get to have a badge of honor. Now this is my personality. I'm tired all the time. I'm busy all the time. I don't have time to read things. And this guy is the double whammy, because it's like, at least there's people who, you know, have their busyness as a personality, and it makes you feel like you're always second best to them, and that they're always, you know, the one that you need to work around. But then you go even deeper down the wormhole, and it's like you get this guy, and it's like the busyness is so much so that he thinks it's like a vest that he wears at all times that protects him from looking stupid, because it's like, oh, well, I'm busy. So like if anyone calls me out on my illogical take, I can just say it was because I'm too busy to read the whole article. You know what I mean? And he probably takes that I'm busy thing to so many different aspects of his life, and we all know someone that does it, and I reckon that is a really bad place to be as a human race. So I think the busyness problem is where I take out of that. I mean, love the trolling, I love the, you know, the freedom that it's giving you, etc. But I think that's where I'm honing in on. I'm gonna say God's dead.
Yeah, man. I don't think I can add anything to that other than, if you're listening, you did this to yourself, buddy.
Yeah, you really especially all this experiment this whole episode.
It's just one comment. It's all I was hoping for was just one troll, and then I'm just going to pour all of my bitterness into them.
He walked into a mousetrap. Not only did he do that, I think he didn't realize, what this meant to you. You know what I mean? Like, damn, it was a bear trap, and you had to be the guy, unfortunately. But
I'm such a bad person, but I don't give a...
No, but the good news for is that there's no way of anyone knowing where you work, and like, you know, this coming back to you, it's totally anonymous. So it's
it's totally anonymous. I haven't taken screenshots of everything. No.
Oh, you won't delete it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But look, I think we all know someone who's a little bit too busy for anyone. And in a rare moment, this is one where I actually didn't need any help on the judgment all by myself. I'm a big kid now. That's the Huggies thing, was it?
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups. Similar vibes. Adult nap. Well, no, nappies for toddlers, basically.
Pull-ups remix. I would like to not apologize for how rogue I got. I would like to just stick by my guns and say that, that was a really cathartic episode for me. Because it's just nice to get out that rage. I don't know what it is, man. Like, it's just, you just get shat on by these types of people all your life.
We all know them.
It's just nice to just stick the knife and twist it.
Because you're always in a position where you're not allowed to say anything. Even though it's like you're sitting there and thinking, none of this makes logical sense, but I'm the junior, they're the senior, so I have to go forward and do what they say.
I think I might have figured it out. My first corporate job, I was really badly workplace bullied. Yeah, I reckon that's why I've got this hectic chip on my shoulder. My mum was also just like this staunch, militant anti-elitist.
Yeah, right.
I guess to a fault.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, maybe that is why I got bullied by a bunch of these corporate cunts. And I also just don't fit that mold. But yeah, maybe this is why I'm using as a punching bag. Yeah, well, the more you know.
Hey, anyone got any theories?
Anyone got any theories?
Don't diagnose it in the comments. Just head to the Discord and we can discuss there.
Yeah, there's TikTokers for that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, all the links down below, including that Discord that we just mentioned. Thanks for everyone in there that's making it fun and cool.
Yeah.
We, of course, are gearing up to, hopefully in a couple of weeks, tell you about something really amazing live show wise. We're just trying to get those big dogs to bite, and I think they're liking the reviews and stuff. If you can, basically, you can do in the meantime if you want to see that tour happen. Share this with a few friends.
Share this with friends, man.
Pretty much.
Share this with friends.
That's all we need. That's all we can ask.
Tell
Don't
your
worry
friends.
about comments, nothing, just friends.
This is like a satisfying cam episode, but just share it anyway.
Yeah. And tell them to turn their headphones down at the scream laugh part.
Yeah.
Headphone warning for this episode.
Man. I reckon. Okay, so yeah, we get a lot of comments about my hyena laugh. I reckon this, out of all my manic laughter throughout our seasons, this episode's, I think, the biggest cackle to date. So, cackle award, Cam.
Decibel check. That was maybe a record breaker.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think I did it.
Well, everyone loves to have fun and laugh, so I wouldn't. If I've learned anything from last week's episode, it's that positivity is important. So I will be not complaining about the laughter because you deserve to not be alone in a
What on
food
earth
court.
does laughter have to do with success?
I can't touch it.
Bryce V. Mills.
Campbell Walker is Struthless69.
God is dead, not clickbait. Love you.
Love you.
Case closed.